I'm Maria and welcome to my Nook. In today's video, I'm going to talk about all the books that I have read so far in 2022. As I have mentioned in my previous video, I just came out of a pretty big reading slump that lasted from end of summer, start of fall 2019 until fall 2021, so a good 2 years. And in those 2 years I had barely managed to finish the second book of a trilogy and start the third book, which I had then basically absolutely put aside for, I don't know, a year or something. And in, I think it was September of last year, 2021, I decided I finally wanted to finish that book and the trilogy, and I did. And then I started reading some Sherlock Holmes stories. I haven't read all of them yet. I've got this huge ass book over here which holds all of the stories, and I haven't read all of the stories yet, but some of them. This year in January I really got back into reading again, starting with this one, Beach Read by Miss Emily Henry. It's actually funny because I've seen quite a lot of people online that have said that this book has gotten them out of their reading slump. And it's also funny because, well, okay, I mean, this sounds a bit ridiculous, but I've read this book in January and the female main character in this book is called January, so is it fate? I don't know. But yeah, this book was the one that got me out of my reading slump. This book was also the book that I was reading while going through some rough times, actually. So this book holds quite a lot of emotions for me and some nostalgia, and I don't know, I loved it so much, so much. It got me back into reading in such a great fashion. I was not able to put this book down. It's crazy because I used to be a reader as a kid and as a teenager, where I used to basically inhale books. And then during high school and starting my study, everything got so stressful that I kind of my mind was busy with other things, I think, figuring life out and figuring out how to be an adult, things like that. But with this book, I kind of felt the same way again that I felt as a kid and as a young teenager, where I would just be like, oh, I just want to read one more page, just one more chapter, and then I'll put it aside, but then I'll end up reading 2 more chapters or 3 more chapters. Or I would, my mom would call me and I would be like, not now, not now, I want to finish this page because I want to know what happens next. Or I would actually forget about my phone, because that's how I invested I was into this book. So this book brought back a lot of bookworm feelings for me, which was just amazing. And I gave this book 5 stars. Next up, right after that, I read another Emily Henry book, People We Meet on Vacation. Should maybe hold them more straight, shouldn't I? I think I liked this one a little less than Beach Read. I still loved it though. I really enjoyed this book. I especially really loved Alex, the male main character in this book. I just, apart from the whole sports thing, I could relate to Alex so much. Like, just the fact that he was rather reading a book in a bar than socializing with anyone or hitting on girls or anything. This girl right here. So yeah, this was a really, really fun read, and it was so fun to be able to experience all the places that Poppy and Alex went to all around the world through this book. So it was just such a nice read, especially because I read, which is also funny, I read this book in January, and it's such a summery book, and I read this book in January too, I believe. Did I finish it in January? Yes. I finished this book in January too, end of January, and it's also a very summery book because they go on summer trips in this book, which just, you know, made my days a little brighter. That's maybe a good way to put it. Just because of the summer vibes. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book. Didn't love it as much as Beach Read though, but I still gave it 4 stars. After that, I read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This was a very different book. For quite some time, I wasn't sure if I was maybe enjoying this book less than the other 2 that I just showed you. But then I realized that I'm just enjoying this book in a different way. I'm not sure if this makes any sense to you, but yeah, I don't really know how to explain it, but I did really enjoy this book, just in a different way that I was enjoying People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read. It did such a good job, in my opinion, to take me into this world, to let me escape into a different world, which is what I love. I love fantasy books, for example, and this is what, I don't even know what genre this is. Is it fantasy? Yeah, okay, I think it's, this book says it's fiction. So I don't know. Magic something. I've really been enchanted by this book. Such a lovely way to word that, right? Yeah, but I like this book. The timeline was a bit confusing at first and a bit hard to keep track with and to like put together all things at first. But once you've gotten into that, I think it's fine. It was a fun read. I did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars too. Alright, next up is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Oh my god. I've read the whole series already, and oh my god, Holly Jackson, holy shit, seriously. This book blew my mind, seriously. I think maybe 50 pages or so into this book, I knew that it was gonna be a 5-star read for me. I just knew, I felt it in my bones, and I was not disappointed. In the end, even when there was just about like 40 pages or so left of the book, it still surprised me, and there was still unexpected things happening, and it was absolutely not in a way of, oh yeah, now I know who did it, and now it's just slowly coming to an end, you know, that kind of way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This book held me in its grip until the very end, and I just, my gosh, it swept me off of my feet. I gave it 5 stars, and I would have given it 6 stars, 7 stars, if I would be able to on Goodreads. I love this book with all of my heart, and I love Pip with all of my heart, and Ravi, and oh my gosh. After this book, I went straight to the second part of the trilogy, Good Girl, Bad Blood. Without the A, that was just me not being able to speak. Good Girl, Bad Blood is the second book. Again, fantastic. Such an amazing book. I was over the moon with this book. It was so amazing. The mystery and the plot twists and the way it all came together and all the surprises, and the way I also loved the way it entangled with the first part. This is a complete new story, a complete new case, a complete new mystery, but it still got so many parts from the first part, which is so amazing. Like, there were things where I was like, wait a minute, didn't something about that happen in the first part? And that was just amazing. Amazing. I gave this one 5 stars too. And then the last part, the third part of the trilogy. My heart hurt so much for Pip. Oh my god. Oh, by the way, the book's name is As Good as Dead, also by Ollie Jackson. My heart. Pip, I am so sorry for you. I am so sorry. This girl, gosh. This was a fantastic finale for this trilogy, I'm telling you. Such an amazing way to end this trilogy. Wow. Just damn. It's an entirely new case again, but it's also got parts of the first 2 books entangled into this one. So again, it was like, wait a minute, didn't something in the first book happen? Or wasn't there something in the second book? Stuff like that. And it was just, pieces came together in such an extraordinary way. And I love the characters in this book. I love Pip so dearly, and Ravi, and oh my god, just also Kara and Naomi and Ned and Connor and Jamie. I gave this book 5 stars as well. I gave this whole series 5 stars. I finished this book about a week ago, and I'm getting emotional just looking at this book. Because this whole trilogy, I loved it so much. I enjoyed it so much. I just love these 3 books so dearly. I cannot express how much I love these books. So if you're into murder mystery, into YA murder mystery with a sprinkle of romance, please read the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder Please read the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson. Please. Oh, and also the last book I've read so far this year also belongs in this series. It's the prequel to the first book, actually, because it takes place before the events of the first book. And the book I'm talking about is Killjoy, which is, I think it's only about 130 pages long or something. But yeah, it's just about Pip and her friends having a murder mystery game dinner, basically, where they're all playing a character and trying to solve a murder mystery. It's kind of like an escape game, but they're not trying to escape, they're trying to solve a murderer, you know? And it's kind of also telling the story of where it all started with Pip, and it's just so... It was such a quick and fun read and just so lovely. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars too. As you can see, I love this whole series by Holly Jackson. And I also think if Holly Jackson will publish anything else, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. Okay, anyway, that's it for today's video. Those were all of the books that I've read so far this year. And I will see you guys in the next video or somewhere else on the internet. Bye!